So Go-Go Loser Ranger has officially returned for season 2 in the most brutal and entertaining fashion possible. But I am bamboozled and flabbergasted by the fact that they returned in the way they did. I was willing to say, okay, Red stomping a boy till he's a puddle of goo because he spilt some tea on him, while shocking, if you told me that happened before the episode started, I'd be like, yeah, that seems in character. If you told me that he would start to mentally snap and start to maybe drop the mask a bit more in public because things aren't going according to plan now that Blue's dead, in the ballpark. If you wanted to say that our boy D would end up being recruited by the green side rather than the red side in order to hunt bosses, I'd say, oh, that's a bit of a twist, but sure. All of that's still in the ballpark of what I could expect. But I thought to myself, hey, we got blessed in ED1 where we had a dance party. And you always see a lot of dances in these ending songs. You get the Chica dance from Kaguya-sama, you get the ED1 of Go-Go. So when I see a 8-bit video game aesthetic, I say, hey, this is the next best thing to a dance ED. And what do those sick bastards do? They drop a dance ED in the middle of the video game ED. And I thought to myself, there ain't no way we're getting blessed with this. Not only did you get like some NES side-scrolling full-on gameplay, they did the dance in multiple video game styles, and I thought to myself, how did they top... They somehow topped the first dance ED. We are spoiled. Want to see my full thoughts on these amazing Go-Go Loser Ranger episodes? We got the Patreon full and cut live reactions over there exclusively. So I've been hyped for this one. This one was such a pleasant surprise. And there's been some good shows to help tie me over. Like last season we had the Red Ranger in Another World. But there's a difference between a show like that and Go-Go Loser Ranger. I'm going to keep it a buck because this show was built different. And we ended pretty explosively. And honestly, I really appreciate that a majority of this episode was actually focused on the main Rangers, right? And basically them having to deal with the fact that Blue is, well, Rip Bozo. So what's interesting is you have more than just like the general public's reaction, right? Like, oh shit, like Blue's dead. Now they know that if something happens to a Ranger, most likely there will be a new one to replace. And you would assume, the second in command, the right-hand man or woman, would probably naturally take it in a normal system, right? So when this, girl's like, hey, I'm gonna do it. That's how it probably would go in most situations. We, however, are dealing with a sociopath. Who is like, you're gonna disrupt my flow. You're not the right height. You're not the right this or that. It's all about public images. And the fact that he mentally snapped in this episode, because it's twofold. One, Blue was very good at matching his energy and knowing what to do without things needing to be said. Very good at improv and matching his energy, which makes the whole Star Attraction show feel more believable and genuine. So the other three kind of like doing their thing, like they're fighting and doing fun. One guy was spanking the Dusters, which I thought was hilarious. But he was getting visibly upset, and he gets a bit of his ass beat there, and he snaps. He snaps so hard that he then grabs his group to pull out the Dragon Blaster Cannon 10,000. And had the civilians not moved, he would have killed a couple hundred people. And even with them moved, they still probably got slightly hurt, some of them. Like debris hitting them, cutting their cheeks and stuff. Like they had to cut the broadcasts from being live because he was that insane. The fact that removing Blue has turned this man already into like a Homelander in the making has me incredibly excited to see how off the deep end he'll truly go. We only got like, I don't even think we got the appetizer in season 1. I think we had the bread rolls in season 1. And now we're getting into the appetizers of how crazy Red's truly going to be. And if we get lucky enough to have a season 3 and 4, that's when we're truly going to see how batshit insane the show wants to be. What's exciting, and while I think D was initially sad, like, hey, I wanted to go to Red because I want to kill that bitch. At the end of the day, it's more exciting because, one, we know he wants revenge on the bosses anyway. So, like, being with this girl who's like, hey, our entire squad is just, we're going to go mess some bosses up. He's like, okay, bet. Makes sense. It lets Red cook and be more simmering into a crazy lunatic in the meantime. And, you know, I doubt we'll see it this season, but if we do get a season 3, I feel like that's when Red and D's confrontation will be much more in the forefront. The big question now is who the hell's going to replace Blue? No idea. But to be honest, if the other Rangers were smart, they would kill Red. Like, if they kill Red and replace Red, they could probably keep this bullshit going for a long time to come. You know, ignoring D and his current plan. But what's probably going to happen is he's just going to keep turning. Like, we're probably dealing with a Homelander situation, if I'm being honest, and that has me excited. D stuff was good. Everything was good in this episode. It just felt like I immediately sat back in the driver's seat, and despite not driving the car for a hot minute, it just felt like it's like remembering riding a bike. I just knew what to do, and it clicked with me. The new opening's great. The ending, I gushed about it, but still, best ending song of the season, if you ask me. It's just good to be back. It feels like returning home after a long visit away, you know? They definitely are setting up some interesting plot points. Like, you have this one guy who got tackled by just general police, and D comes over. He's like, hey, what are we doing? And they're like, well, there was disappearance. This guy was acting creepy. I assumed he was a duster, just there's something about his character model that just kind of gave me that impression. But, you know, we help him get free after the weird sibling date thing that was going on. And then they're like, wait a second, we just researched this guy. He has no sibling, and he said that's why he was here. So obviously he was lying, but I'm not under the impression that he's like a complete scumbag in the way that they were trying to paint him out to be. So we'll see where they go with that. But either way, production looked great. The voice actors are great. The close-ups were menacing. I mean, Red, that's a man you didn't want to be left in a room alone with. And while I knew it was coming when that dude messed up his tea the first time, dropped it on him the second time, you would think it would be less shocking because we've already seen him do something similar like that. But somehow I might even argue it was more shocking because I'm like, oh shit, now that Blue's gone, and now that this shit, I mean, you're gonna get sick of my boys reference, but it is kind of reminding me of Homelander when he's no longer getting reality checks and can do whatever he wants with no repercussions. It's kind of what we're dealing with, and it has me excited because for entertainment value, going to be next level, but going to be god-awful for everyone else involved. You let me know your thoughts and feelings, though, if you've been excited for the return of Go-Go Loser Ranger ever since it wrapped up, or maybe you jumped aboard it just recently because you knew it was coming back. What did you think of the return, and, you know, favorite moment if you got any? I think, honestly, that punch connecting and him just mentally snapping is probably mine, but let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Armana, Kev, Joanne, Devil May Carter, brilliant name right there, Lady Killdragon, Matthew Pizarro, Kakyu, and we also have Laser. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You all have a good one.